Hi everyone, so today we're going to be talking about what you need to pack for a K2 base camp trek. Now, it's a long trek, you're going to need to have lots of different things with you. So we have a quick run through today, packing a duffel bag ready for your K2 base camp trek. Now you're going to need two different bags. You're going to need your duffel bag without wheels, and you're going to need your day pack that you're going to be wearing on your back with you at all times when you're doing the trek. So the stuff you need for that day. So the K2 base camp trek is a camping trek. You're going to be staying in a tent. So the first thing we're going to need to have is our sleeping bag, and you're going to need a 3 to 4 season sleeping bag. And if you feel the cold, I would suggest taking a liner with you as well to make sure that you've got the options as you go higher up, because you are going to be camping at the K2 base camp for one night. Depending on how you sleep, you might want to be taking a roll mat with you as well, or an inflatable mat. I've got a downfilled one which is super comfy and also gives that, because it's downfilled, it gives that extra layer of insulation to it as well. So actually I can get away with a season-less sleeping bag to stay just as warm. So if I have this one and a 3-season sleeping bag, in effect it's giving me the same as having a 4-season sleeping bag with me as well. So I always use my insulated one for that purpose. Moving on to footwear, you are going to need to have a good pair of boots with you with plenty of ankle support. So a good B2 boot, I would advise, is what you're going to want to wear on the K2 base camp trek. The path is very rocky, it's very stony. You want to make sure you've got plenty of ankle support to stop your ankles from rolling as you're going on it. You certainly don't want to be twisting an ankle early on in the trek. So a good level of support on your boots is, I think, really important on this trek. Those are going to be what I'm wearing, so I need to pack those into my duffel bag. I will also take with me a pair of approach shoes. These I can wear around the camps in the evenings, so when I get into camp, I'm not having to walk around in my heavy boots all the time. Just give my feet an extra little bit of comfort by having a pair of comfortable shoes with me. So either trainers or approach shoes. It might be that you take a pair of approach shoes because some of the days you might feel that you can walk in approach shoes where you wouldn't really want to use trainers. So approach shoes are probably the best thing to take as your second pair, because they double up as a pair of walking shoes as well as a comfortable pair of shoes around camp in the evening. Moving on to clothing, you're going to want a good set of waterproofs. So you're going to want a breathable waterproof jacket and a breathable pair of waterproof trousers. The important things with them is with K2 base camp, you're going to want to be taking layers with you so you can dress for all extremes. So you want to make sure that your waterproof trousers and your waterproof jacket will fit over the top of all of your layering system. So don't go and buy a really tight waterproof jacket that you can't get over your insulated layer. So think about that when you're putting your kit list together. With my waterproofs, I'm going to be carrying these in my day pack because you never know when you might need them. You certainly don't want to keep them in your duffel bag and not be reunited with them until the evening if you have a heavy downpour while you're on the trek. So think about that. These are going to go in your day pack, not in your duffel bag. Other things we're going to need to take. So I'm going to take with me, because it's such a long trek, I'm not going to have enough capacity in my bag to have a spare pair of clothes every day on this trek. So I'm going to have 5 or 6 wicking t-shirts, not cotton. You want them to be able to wick the sweat away. And I'm going to have a pair of lightweight trekking trousers as well to wear when I'm on the trek. I'm going to have a heavier pair of trousers, another lightweight pair of trousers, and a pair of shorts as well. So I've got plenty of options as I'm trekking. But I'm going to start off in a pair of lightweight trekking trousers and a wicking shirt and see how I get on. I like to use packing cubes when I'm packing. I find these really useful for working out where my different bits of kit are within my bag. In this one, I've got all of my spare base layer t-shirts. I've got my thick pair of trousers, my other thin pair of trousers, and my pair of shorts ready to go. I do want a clean pair of socks every day. That's the one thing that I do want clean every day. And I want various different thicknesses of trekking socks. I don't want to start off lower down in really thick mountaineering socks, and I certainly don't want to finish up at the top on a thin pair of socks. So I've got various different thicknesses of trekking socks as well as clean pants as well. Those are the things that I want every day when I'm on the trek. It's a clean pair of pants and a clean pair of socks. It's nothing nicer than getting into camp in the evenings and putting on a fresh pair of socks ready for the next day. In this one, I've got my thermals. I've got a thermal base layer, long sleeved, and a thermal base layer of trousers, just in case it does get really cold. I've got those options to put on as well. It might be that as you get further up and it gets colder, you might want to wear those to bed in the evenings as well. So just taking those doubles up is both options really. In here, I've got a couple of fleeces. This adds to my layering system. So I would have my wicking t-shirt on. I could then put a fleece on, and then I've then got my insulated jacket as well that can go over the top. In fact, I've got a very tight fleece, and I've got another fleece to go over the top. So actually I could wear both of these if I really got cold. So thinking about how you can layer yourself up is really important on this trek. Insulated jacket, decide whether or not you want to go for a synthetic or a down jacket. Because I'm camping, generally I prefer a synthetic jacket. Down doesn't do very well getting wet, and I'd much rather have something that would dry out. Down's terrible to dry if it gets really wet, so I'd always opt for a synthetic jacket. If there's any risk of rain or whatever, then a synthetic jacket's much better than a down jacket. Again, I'm going to carry my insulated jacket within my day pack, because if you stop for lunch, you know, you're wearing a t-shirt. You're fine when you're walking, you feel warm enough, but when you stop, you might just want to put another layer on just to keep that wind chill off you. So I'll always carry this in my down bag, in my day pack, ready to go. Next thing on the list is warm hat, gloves. I've got a couple of buffs in here. I've got a pair of thick mitts as well that I put in just in case it gets really cold. Buffs are super important. They keep the dust off your mouth. If it gets cold, you can put it up over your nose, and a thin pair of gloves just to make sure that you can still get things out your bag and move around and not be restricted and have to take your gloves off and have bare hands. So thin pair of gloves, warm hat, couple of buffs, always super handy to have with you. Travel pillow, this goes with me everywhere that I go. A good night's sleep when you're on a trek is really important. So for me, having my travel pillow is very comfortable for a good night's sleep. Peaked hat, obviously it is going to be, you know, you are high up, you are more exposed to the sun when you're at altitude. Keeping your neck covered as well is super important when you're trekking, especially if it's behind you. You don't want to get into camp in the evening and find that you've burnt your neck. So take a brimmed hat with a neck covering as well. Sunglasses, again, you know, you're walking up the glacier, the sun's going to be very bright, you're at altitude, you want to make sure that you've got a good pair of Cat 4 sunglasses, full wrap around, so they're not letting light in anywhere. And I would always say take a spare pair of sunglasses, because if you drop them, lose them, break them, they're the one thing that you're going to need to really have a spare pair of when you're on the trek. Don't take up much space, and just having a spare pair I think is super important. Travel towel, obviously you are camping, it's going to be very difficult, there's going to be no showers on the trip, but you might be able to have a wash out of a bowl, just to be able to dry yourself off afterwards. Lightweight pack towel, dry really quickly, doesn't take up any space in your bag, and by the next day it's ready to pack away or dry again. So a lightweight pack towel always goes in my bag. You've got your wash bag. I mean, again, there's not a lot you need to take in your wash bag. Like I say, you're not going to be having the opportunities for showers, etc. So it's just going to be the personal stuff for that day: toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant. You know, you might want to take some wet wipes with you if you have the option to have a wet wipe bath. Again, super important when you're on the trip. Head torch, camp in the evenings, sorting your kit out in the tent. You're going to need to have a head torch, and because you're trekking for quite a long time, you're either going to need to have spare batteries with you or a way of charging it as well. So think about what you're going to take with you that way. Battery pack, again, how I'm going to charge my watch, how I'm going to charge my phone for my camera, how I'm going to charge my head torch. So I'm going to have my battery pack in the bag as well. First aid kit, super important. You need to carry your own personal first aid kit with you. Things like blister plasters, ibuprofen, paracetamols, diaurolite, Imodium, those things that you're going to need for a daily basis. Obviously, any personal medication that you need to take with you as well is going to go in your first aid kit. That's not going to go in my bag. that needs to be carried with me on a day-to-day basis in my day pack, because I need to get access to that at any time. Finally, I'm going to have this is my dirty washing bag. You know, you are trekking for a long time, you're going to be wearing the clothes for a couple of days. You're going to need to keep that dirty washing separate from your clean washing. So have a nice dry bag that you can pack all your stuff in, seal it down, and not contaminate the rest of your bag with that one. Finally, onto water. For a K2 trek, I would take a water to go bottle. With the filter system inside it, it means that you can fill it up from a puddle, from a river, and you're always going to be drinking clean water. I would take a couple of these with me. They fit inside, they fit down the side of my day pack really nicely, and you know, you can just take it out, drink it, you can see what you've been drinking, and you know that every time you're taking a drink, you're going to be drinking clear, purified water, and you're not going to have any tummy issues from the water. You could take a Nalgene bottle, and you know, you will have, they'll boil the water or they'll filter the water for you, or you could take a hydration pack as well and fill that up. But for me, I always prefer the water to go bottles, a couple of those in the side of my rucksack, and that's perfect. Final thing then is going to be your day pack. You're going to need to carry a fair bit of stuff with you during the day: the water, your waterproofs, your insulated jacket, your first aid kit, your camera, any other things that you're carrying on a day-to-day basis. So, I mean, this is a 35 to 45 litre bag. I'm not going to fill it up, but I will have plenty of space in it to find the bits and pieces that I do need. I don't want to have a 25 litre bag and then find that I'm having to cram everything in and got to unpack it every time I want to find something. So for me, a 35 to 40 litre bag is the perfect size. I've got my trekking poles ready to go as well. Again, on this trip, especially on the way back down, protecting those knees, trekking poles are really important. So go from that one. So that's basically what I would pack for a K2 base camp trek. If you want any advice on kit, if you want to know any more about it, please do get in contact with us. We're more than happy to help. You can either email into the office or give us a phone call. I'll attach a copy of the kit list to the bottom of this video so you can see everything, and then when you're packing for your K2 trip, you can just tick things off as you go. Okay, thanks very much for listening. Bye bye.